Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today we're just going to be taking a look at the MSI B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard. This is going to be just a quick unboxing and overview of the board. I will be giving you guys some information that you can go off of if you're trying to make an educated purchase, or you're trying to get the best bang for your buck. I believe this motherboard here will deliver. So let's go ahead and get this out of this bag and take a look at the motherboard a little bit closer. All right, let's go ahead and unwrap this thing. But first, let's take a look at the accessories that you get with this board. You got you get one SATA cable at a 90-degree angle. You get your two antennas. This is a Wi-Fi motherboard after all. You also get your M.2 screws here. And a manual and more papers here, or yeah, this is actually the manuals. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and put this aside and get straight to what matters here. And in my opinion, if you're going to buy a B650 motherboard and you're, like I said, if you want to get the best bang for your buck, look no further. I have done my research on this here, and I can tell you with certainty, with a great level of certainty, that this is the best you're going to get for your money when it comes to the B650 platform. Okay, so here is the board itself. Really nice looking motherboard. It's got the matte black that I would expect from MSI, as you can see. So let's talk a little bit about this board and why I say this is the best bang for your buck when it comes to a B650 motherboard. I will go as far as saying that if you're going to jump to the AM5 platform, I wouldn't even bother with anything else aside from over this board here, because of the simple fact that with this little board here, you get a crazy killer VRM. And what I am talking about is that you get it's a 17 face VRM, okay? But it's split into 14, 2, and 1. But that's not really it. The fact is that here, MSI did not skimp out on the power delivery for the board. The voltage regulators that they're using here, they're 80 amp voltage regulators. Now, in theory, this means that with the setup that MSI has thrown on here, this gives you a total of 1,280 amps. Of course, running that much power will start to make your heat sinks here probably melt. Now, I don't know who is going to be running that much power through here, but if the power is there, the capacity is there, that just speaks to the level of quality that they're using here with MPS. This is the voltage regulators. They're the MPS 2210s. Okay, that's what they're using here. And the controller, the PWM controller, it's actually, I believe it is, yeah, down here in this corner. I don't know if you can see it there from that angle. But the PWM controller is the MPS 2223 controller. One of their best, and it's used actually on higher end or more expensive motherboards, I would say. I don't think that you can go any... I mean, of course, you can increase the level of faces here, but the quality of the VRM is just... I love MSI for doing this. I love MPS. Infineon and MPS is the way to go if you're going to go with power delivery. They just make the best MOSFETs, the best PWM controllers. Now, you could argue also that Vishay, Richtech, and many other companies out there also make good PWM controllers and MOSFETs, but MPS and Infineon is where it's at. That's what higher end motherboards sport. So you know what, we'll just go ahead and skip everything else for now and focus on the rear IO. You have your BIOS flashback button right here, display port, HDMI, USB 3.2 ports. You got your 2.5 gigabit LAN, USB 2.0, you get 2 of those, another 3.2 port, and 4 more 3.2 USB ports. And you got your Type-C connector here. Of course, you get your Wi-Fi. This is 6E, so pretty good. Yeah, whatever. If you're into, if you're going to be using your Wi-Fi, and you get your audio out here. You also get digital, fiber optic output here. So that's really nice. If you guys have noticed, you get 2 power connectors here for the CPU. Now, just one of these here can deliver around 400 watts of power. So you can drive a 7950X here, be to the wall, and have no issues. But if you're going to be doing, like extreme overclocking and using liquid nitrogen or dry ice, then, if you're going to be doing extreme overclocking, you could use both of them. Still, one of them would be just plenty of power, I believe. But hey, I'm not a professional overclocker, so I'm not going to go into that. But you get your pump, system fan, and your CPU fan here. Now, one thing that needs to be said about the pump headers. If you have, for example, an AIO like the Arctic Cooling Freezer series, Arctic Cooling Freezer 2 series, you want to make sure that you're using your pump header, because this delivers more ampage, more power, in other words. So this will run plenty of power, will provide plenty of power for your pump and your 2 or 3 120 or 140 millimeter fans. So make sure that you always use this here if you're going to be using an AIO. It's just, more power. And of course, you got, like I said, you got your CPU fan there, header, and your system fan header here. You get your RGB header up here, ARGB on this side here. You got your boot LED lights for troubleshooting. It doesn't have an LED code post option, but you know what? This is plenty. You just gotta remember, what color means what if you're gonna be doing any overclocking. Your 24-pin mainboard power connector. You get Type-C. Woohoo! That's nice, very nice, for the front panel. So that's a feature that I like, because most of my cases do have a Type-C front panel option. When it comes to the heat sinks that they're using here on the South Bridge, look at that. That is pretty thick. So I am happy that MSI did this. Okay, so if you see that right there, you got some fins going on there on the bottom. So very nice. I like that. You got your 3.2 port front panel connector here for your USB. 4 SATA ports at a 90-degree angle. You got another fan header here at the bottom right corner. Another ARGB header, front panel headers or header. You get 2 more SATA ports down here. USB 2.0. You got your BIOS reset header if you want to do some overclocking. 2 more fan headers down here. I don't exactly know what these are for. Or these here. This is another just RGB header down here, and your audio out. For this one here, they're using real text, so it's good enough. Another fan header here in the middle of the board towards the back. You can use this for your exhaust if you're going to be going that route. Another thing that I like is that MSI also did supply you with two heat sinks for your M.2 ports. Now this is where your M.2, I believe these are 5.0. Yep, M.2 5.0. This is connected to your CPU. This is where you want to hook up your operating system, or however you want to have it. It's up to you. But this is the one that's closest to the CPU, is connected to the CPU. And this one here is going to be connected to your chipset, and you have an option for a third one, but it does not come with the heatsink. So very nice. 2 heat sinks on your M.2 NVMe's. Very nice. Another thing that I have to bring this up. and I'm sure you can see it there. I believe it is MSI and a few other boards that are doing this, where they're actually shielding the traces to the memory. If you see that right there, you cannot see the traces. This is for better signaling between the memory controller to your RAM. Now, if you're going to be populating all four DIMMs, this right here will definitely give you the best signal because, okay, let's just say that you're going to be using only 2 DIMMs. This will still leave these traces here open, okay, so to noise. But because you're only using 2 DIMMs, you're putting less stress on the 2 channels that you're going to be using here on the memory controller, or it'll just give you better overclocking if you're only using 2 DIMMs. However, if you, like I said in the beginning, if you're going to be using 04, this right here kicks in. This is for, it's not like a feature that it turns on. Let me rephrase that, but it will give you the best signaling between your RAM and your memory controller. So I'm happy that MSI is doing this. Look at that. That's so nice. Let's look at the back. And I can tell you, yep, they're doing the same thing here on the back, as you can see there. You cannot see those traces. So thank you, MSI, for doing that. Very nice. So what about the heat sinks? Well, if you look at the VRM heatsink here, they have some fins here for your, this is your SoC mostly. And okay, let's look at this angle here. And for the CPU, the ones that are closer to the CPU, the MOSFETs, or the power regulators, voltage regulators. You see this got some fins there too going on. So very nice that MSI has done that. I'm not going to complain about the design of the VRM controllers, or I'm sorry, the VRM heat sinks. The reason is because if you look at this is not a, like other boards are using plastic here on the top. No, this is just one piece. This is actually one piece aluminum. Look at that. Very nice. So you have plenty of cooling, although really with this level of quality of voltage regulators that they're using here, you could run this without the heat sinks, but of course I don't recommend that. I recommend you leave it just as it is because it's really good quality stuff. So yeah, this is the MSI Tomahawk, the B650 board. Very nice, very well suited for your high-end PC build if you want to go with 7800X 3D, or if you just need it for work. This will deliver clean power to your 7950 or 7900 CPUs, and also will future-proof your system, because if you buy this board, I will feel very safe to say that with this board and the newer processors that may come out here in a year or two, this power delivery, the power delivery that you have here, being 14 phases, 80 amp stages, you wouldn't have any issues. And the reason why I mentioned this is because how many of you remember when the B350 motherboards came out, you know, X370 boards, I wouldn't use a 5950X on a B350 motherboard today, because you're looking at 4 plus maybe 1 or 2 faces. So the VRM on those boards are just not, they're not the beefier. However, there were a few motherboards, especially by MSI, that gave you a pretty beefy, good quality VRM power faces and MOSFETs. And those boards can run a 5950X, no problem, overclocked, no issues. So there are a few motherboards out there that do have B350 boards, you know, an X370, that will have no issues running a 5950X overclocked and not power throttle because of the quality of the VRM that they implemented to begin with. So VRM is very, very, very important when you're going to make a motherboard purchase. If you want to go with the B550 board, I can tell you that the MSI, I believe is A Pro. Yeah, I believe it is the MSI B550 A Pro. has a very nice VRM as well. It's going with Infineon MOSFETs, and also the power controller, the PWM controller, is also by Infineon. So that will be your B550, in my opinion, the best board that you can go with. Okay, so other than that, I believe that will pretty much wrap up this video. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. If you're in the market for a good motherboard and you want to get the best bang for your buck, do yourself a favor, add this to your list, because the VRM on this thing is just incredible. It's just a monster. So again, 1280 amps. Oh man, incredible. All right, well, I will leave the video here, guys. If you did like the video, please hit thumbs up, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, then I don't know. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.